The road trip. Chapter 1. The decisioned idea for the road trip had been simmering for months. It was the last semester of college, and graduation loomed like a formidable yet exhilarating storm on the horizon. Claire, Jack, Hannah, and Ben had been friends since their freshman year, drawn together by a shared love for adventure and a thirst for the extraordinary. They had navigated the labyrinth of college life together, from late-night study sessions to spontaneous weekend getaways, forming a bond that felt unbreakable. One evening in early April, they gathered in Claire's cramped off-campus apartment, the walls adorned with posters of distant places they dreamed of visiting. A half-empty pizza box sat on the coffee table, and the air was filled with the comfortable hum of their chatter. "It's now or never," Claire declared, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "We should do something epic before we all scatter to the winds." Jack, always the practical one, raised an eyebrow. "Like what? We've already done the beach trips and the hiking trails." Hannah, who had been scrolling through her phone, suddenly lit up. "How about a cross-country road trip? We could visit all those places we've talked about but never had the time to see." Ben, lounging on the couch with a guitar in his lap, strummed a dramatic chord. "A last hurrah before we face the real world." "I like it." And so, the plan was set in motion. They would take 3 weeks after graduation to travel from their college town in New England to the sunny shores of California, hitting as many iconic landmarks and quirky roadside attractions as possible. Chapter 2. The preparation. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Claire, the meticulous planner, mapped out the route, highlighting stops like Niagara Falls, the Great Lakes, Chicago, the Badlands, Yellowstone, and the Grand Canyon. Jack handled the logistics, ensuring their car, a somewhat battered but reliable SUV, was roadworthy and stocked with emergency supplies. Hannah, the foodie of the group, compiled a list of must-visit diners, food trucks, and hole-in-the-wall eateries along the way. Ben, the musician and resident free spirit, created a playlist that perfectly captured the essence of their journey, an eclectic mix of classic rock, indie hits, and soulful ballads. Graduation came and went in a blur of caps, gowns, and tearful goodbyes. The reality of their impending separation hung over them like a dark cloud, but the promise of the road trip infused their final days on campus with a sense of excitement and purpose. Chapter 3. The departure. In a bright, crisp morning in early June, they loaded their luggage into the SUV. Claire took the first shift behind the wheel, her nerves evident in the way she gripped the steering wheel. Jack sat beside her, navigating with a map spread out on his lap. Hannah and Ben occupied the back seats, already bickering playfully over the playlist.
As they pulled out of the driveway and onto the open road, a sense of liberation washed over them. The world stretched out before them, vast and full of possibilities. Their first destination was Niagara Falls, a 7-hour drive that would take them through the rolling hills and picturesque small towns of upstate New York. The drive was filled with laughter and storytelling, their spirits buoyed by the thrill of the unknown. They arrived at Niagara Falls just as the sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the thundering waters. They stood together at the edge, the mist enveloping them in a cool embrace. "It's even more beautiful than I imagined," Hannah whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. Ben wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "And this is just the beginning." Chapter 4. The Great Lakes and Chicago. The next few days took them along the shores of the Great Lakes, where they camped under star-studded skies and woke to the gentle lapping of waves. They explored quaint towns, sampled local delicacies, and reveled in the simple joy of being together. Their arrival in Chicago marked the end of the first leg of their journey. The Windy City welcomed them with its vibrant energy and diverse culture. They visited the Art Institute, marveled at the towering skyscrapers, and devoured deep dish pizza at a famous local pizzeria. One evening, they found themselves at a rooftop bar, the city lights twinkling below them. Claire raised her glass, a look of contentment on her face. "To us, and to the adventure of a lifetime." They clinked their glasses together, savoring the moment. Chapter 5. The Badlands and Yellowstone. Leaving Chicago, they headed west toward the Badlands. The landscape changed dramatically, from lush greenery to the stark, otherworldly beauty of the Badlands National Park. They hiked through the rugged terrain, marveling at the unique rock formations and the vast, empty expanse that stretched out before them. From there, they made their way to Yellowstone National Park, a place that had always been at the top of their bucket list. They were in awe of the park's geothermal wonders, geysers, hot springs, and bubbling mud pots. They watched in amazement as Old Faithful erupted, sending a plume of steam and water high into the air. Camping in Yellowstone was a magical experience. They sat around the campfire, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories under the starlit sky. The sounds of the wilderness surrounded them, a symphony of nature that lulled them into a sense of peace and belonging. Chapter 6: The Grand Canyon. The final leg of their journey took them to the Grand Canyon, a place of breathtaking beauty and immense scale. As they stood on the rim, gazing into the vast chasm below, they felt a profound sense of awe. "I can't believe we're actually here," Claire said, her voice filled with wonder. Jack took her hand, squeezing it gently. "It's more than just a place. It's a reminder of how small we are and how much there is to explore."
They spent the day hiking along the rim, taking in the stunning views and the ever-changing colors of the canyon walls. That evening, they watched the sunset from a secluded spot, the sky ablaze with shades of orange, pink, and purple. As the stars emerged, they lay on their backs, the cool desert air wrapping around them like a blanket. Ben strummed his guitar softly, the notes mingling with the sounds of the night. Chapter 7: The End of the Road. The journey from the Grand Canyon to California was bittersweet. They knew their adventure was coming to an end, but they also felt a deep sense of gratitude for the experiences they had shared. Their final destination was a beach house in Malibu, a place where they could relax and reflect on their journey. They spent their days lounging on the sand, surfing, and exploring the coastal trails. At night, they gathered around a bonfire, the sound of the waves providing a soothing backdrop to their conversations. On their last night, they sat together on the beach, the glow of the fire casting a warm light on their faces. Claire looked around at her friends, her heart full. "This trip has been everything I hoped for and more," she said softly. "We've seen so much, and we've grown even closer." Jack nodded. "It's been incredible, and even though we'll be going our separate ways, we'll always have this." Hannah smiled, her eyes glistening with tears. "No matter where life takes us, we'll always be connected by this journey." Ben raised his guitar, strumming the opening chords of their favorite song, "To Us and to the Road That Brought Us Here." They sang together, their voices blending harmoniously with the sound of the ocean. As the fire burned low and the stars shone brightly above, they knew that this was not the end, but a new beginning. Their paths might diverge, but their friendship would endure, forged by the memories of an unforgettable road trip.